ask 100 people in manufacturing what MDM is, you're going to have maybe 10 people say, I know what it is. And out of those 10, they're going to go, 8 of them are going to go, it's PIM. Truman.
James.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
It's great we get not to do this over Teams for once.
Agreed.
You know,
Agreed.
I get too many meetings over there. We get to do something face to face, talk about the things that we do in data, all the things going out in industries right now that we can help with and kind of bring light into what it is we all do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Looking forward to talking about specifically MDM and how it relates to a vertical that I know we both share in the manufacturing space, and why it's not just a nice to have. It's something that as digital maturity happens more for people and as it grows for the enterprise level companies, it's something that they really need to understand more and to get a handle of as they move forward and try to grow and build efficiency within.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So I spent 30 years in manufacturing, and I can tell you right now, you ask 100 people in manufacturing what MDM is, you're going to have maybe 10 people say, I know what it is. And out of those 10, they're going to go, 8 of them are going to go, it's PIM. And the first thing I start off with, it's more than PIM. It's not about sticking things on the internet or e-commerce totally. It's a complete solution from supplier to the raw materials to your operations and assets. It's, your products, so you get the accurate descriptions. It's all the way down to your business partners, your customers, regulatory compliance on a regional level, and all the interoperability in between. I think it's well known that most enterprise level manufacturers have 40 to 50 plus software solutions within their organization. And that's from green screen legacy ERPs, high-tech PLMs, all that stuff. Nothing sitting in the middle like a good network router to kind of exchange that information so everyone's working in sync and on the same page.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And I think taking a step back to on a larger level of MDM is that it's no longer just an IT function. It's really gone into the business realm, and how all of those things that you just mentioned, from customer to product to location, how they all feed each other. And you talk about how the average customer has 50 plus different software things. The MDM feeds into all of those. So by getting that single source of truth correct, really helps all of the other things downstream.
Over the years, you found this turn from, it may be an IT's budget, but they're really asking the operations people, the people in product, the people in procurement, all the way down to the VP in sales, and go, what would be important to you? What helps your efficiency? What helps you do something more accurate? And once we started listening more to the business people, you started getting better business outcomes.
So maybe we should start for the uninitiated, or maybe those that aren't totally sure, kind of what are some of the differentiators between MDM and PIM as you see it in the manufacturing space?
Yeah, well, you know what, we could take a whole journey on from exactly how your product starts all the way down to where it's sold, and kind of share exactly where MDM comes in that, how it brings it all together, gives that centralized point of view all the way across the industry, so people that are sitting in procurement are aligned with their sales teams and what they're trying to sell, so they don't buy something that's out of compliance, where you have the PLM and engineers who are making changes that are able to articulate to those who are responsible for discussing the product's description up onto the website or literature. So, for me, just like you said, someone said, hey, we need a PIM. Well, what's your problem? And then all of a sudden you're like, well, we're having a hard time trying to get all the accurate data in together. The first thing to start looking at, where's it all come from? Your suppliers, are you onboarding them effectively? Are you being able to organize them and manage them, relate them to products downstream? Are you able to relate them with products that you're buying for raw materials in there to enhance this traceability? Are you able to look at them and say, look, I'm double buying here. For this division, I'm buying this, but I'm also buying this from the same vendor at this price. It's being able to do those analytics, and the only way you can do that is when you grab all that data that lives separately in 5, 6, 10, 15 plus different systems and go, I'm looking at one governed truth here. I now know and can make a decision based off of what I'm seeing in the central level.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you met with a customer and it's a large enterprise entity, right? But you start talking to them about their data and it's on a spreadsheet here, or maybe they have one person in the organization that is kind of the person that if something, God forbid, ever happened to them, they would
or go on vacation.
It would be huge panic, right? And so And also getting that data from the different manufacturers, the different OEMs, those sorts of things, collating that into one way that's readable across all channels, right? So again, as we're talking about manufacturing, just simple things like lengths and measurements or weights or voltages, the differences between how those are collected and where they come from is really important, right? And so having that to start with, it doesn't matter what all of your other systems are or whatever someone else has sold you as far as how great this is going to help you if you're not feeding it crisp, clean data from a central source. You're going to be spinning your wheels and somehow with manual processes, with slowdowns, with inaccuracies, duplications, all of those things that you kind of discussed. So yeah, understanding, starting with the product, like you said, what does that look like? What are some of the things that are basic to that to get right is a great starting point.
Yeah, and downstream consumption is huge. So having one enriched record come in and be able to police and govern that and manage that right from the get-go. And you think of where does most of your bad data come from in an organization? It comes in from the left side. It comes in from the back door, which is the supplier. And if I can't start organizing that from the get-go and associate it in with a product. So what MDM kind of does there is it helps tell a complete data story. If I do this, like manufacturing is like a Rubik's Cube. You change one side, all the other sides are going to change with it. So to be able to continually re-optimize, have everything connect, have that complete story downstream, and then you're able to say, you know what? Any of these changes, I'm able to share it, no matter whether or not they're using Excel, a green screen ERP, syndicated for web content, whatever. I'm able to take this stuff, especially with regulators from a supplier, and immediately share it with them in a standardized format that not only is accurate, but governed for their use.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think as you dig deeper into the product information itself, like how much information goes into that specific domain, right? So you brought up some of those, but when we talk about just the things like a product name or a SKU ID, manufacturers' brands, as you get higher and higher up the chain in some large organizations, they deal with hundreds of, sometimes thousands of different manufacturers, the supplier information, where the product was sourced from, so traceability aspects come along with that. Then you have your product attributes, right? So your descriptions, your specifications, your category hierarchies, those sorts of things. Color, size, the packaging in and of itself is often its own SKU.
Yeah.
I talked about earlier, like unit of measurements, right? And then you have your pricing, your commercial information, so your unit price, your pricing schemes, lead times, how long that takes to get the product where it needs to get to. A minimum order quantity if people are buying in bulks for little pieces. And then you have things like images and videos. You can go way down the rabbit hole as far as 360 spins and how they look so that people can look at it. They want to be able to go on the site and see what they're purchasing. All of the technical data that goes into that, that's documented and detailed so that people can make sure that they're getting the exact right picofarad on the capacitor that they're looking for. So from beginning to end, all of those things go into product. And so when we're implementing, as the systems integrator here at Pivottree, when we're implementing a Stibo, having a good idea of those, where they come from, what that looks like, and what we're trying to accomplish, that's just the start, to your point. But all of those things are important, and they all have downstream effects.
And I called it the data domino effect. All it takes is one small little grumble that winds up being a big problem towards the end. But through everything that you just said there, it's so important to remind people all that information, as many things as it is, also lives in many different systems. So what MDM is able to do is ingest all that, bring it up here, have people go, that's right, that's wrong, that's sort of right, let's confirm that before it's let live, and then resyncing all those systems so they're working off one singular truth. But now you've got visibility. Go, okay, we understand what we're buying, and it's supporting what we need to build. So now all of a sudden, let's understand internally what we got to do. How are we aligning our assets, our personnel? Is everyone up to date with EHS and MSDS sheets and understanding what they're handling, how to build it right for certain market?
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think boiling down to what you just said very, very well is kind of two words that we always try to keep in mind when helping people through this journey is consistency and efficiency, right? So we want to ensure that everyone in the organization is working off of the same sheet of music, so
Yes.
to speak, right? With the accurate data that you're talking about. And then we also want to streamline the process. So the less manual input and work that occurs, it's not just good from a people capital or even a resource capital. It's good for the final product
Yeah.
of the data, right? So deployment on supply chain and management and sales, all of those things. So if you can get the consistency and the efficiency right, which is what MDM helps to do, that automatically reads into what I think most people are looking for, and that's an improved customer experience.